Hello everyone, this is Sumant. In this video, let's discuss multiple inheritance and multi-level inheritance. So in our previous video, we have already discussed about this inheritance, right? So that's called as single inheritance. Now let's go a step further and let's understand this multiple inheritance and multi-level inheritance. So let's start with a multiple inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but deriving the properties of a particular class to another class, right? So that's called as inheritance. So similarly, multiple inheritance means deriving the properties of multiple classes to a particular class. So that's called multiple inheritance. So let's understand this multiple inheritance with an example. So here I'm just defining a name class, like a class name teacher, and here I'm just defining a method def teacher of self, and here I'm just printing this is teacher class, and similarly I'm just creating another class principal, and even here I'm just name of the method I'm just changing to principal, and this is principal class. So I just defined two classes here, and similarly I'm just defining another class student, right? Here I'm just giving def student of self, and here I just want to print student class, right? So here you can see I have just created three classes, like a teacher class and principal class and student class, and now I want to extract all the properties of the teacher class and the principal class to the student class. So what I can do, generally if it is a single inheritance, we just use it to pass the name of the class here, right? So this is called as inheritance, single inheritance. But multiple inheritance means passing multiple classes. So here I'm just passing this class name also, like I have just passed both the classes, like teacher class and principal class. So that's the reason why it is called as multiple inheritance. Now if I just try to run this, now let's check the student class. Here you can see the description about this student class. Method resolution order, right? You can see student, teacher, principal, and also you can see the methods, methods inherited from teacher class, the teacher, and you can see the methods inherited from principal class, like principal, right? So we can able to inherit the properties of two classes, right? Similarly, if you want to inherit multiple, like if you want to inherit like 3, 4, or you can just give the name of that classes here. So that's called multiple inheritance. Now if I just try to create an object, of this student class, you can see if I just press tab, you can see I got three methods, like principal, student, and teacher. So now if I just give student dot teacher of, you can see this is the teacher class, right? We got the output. So that's called as multiple inheritance. Now let's discuss multi-level inheritance. So multi-level inheritance, nothing but we can just relate this to a relation to the grandparent and child, right? So if we just take an example of grandfather, so we can just define that as one class, and the derived from that grandfather is a father, right? So that's called as derived class from grandfather class, and the derived class from the father is child, right? So we can just relate that multi-level inheritance to that example. So let's discuss this with an example. So in the same case, I'm just using these. So here if you can see, this is the teacher class, right? So I'm just deriving the teacher class to this principal class. So for that, what we can do? We can just give the name of that class here. So this principal is the derived class of this teacher, right? Similarly, here I have created the class student, right? Here I'm just passing, instead of this both, I'm just passing principal, right? Now you can understand, right? So I have just created a class teacher, the principal, student. First I have just passed this teacher to principal and this principal to student, right? So now this teacher is the base class, right? This principal is the derived class of this teacher and the student is the derived class of this principal. Now these three are interconnected, right? So this is called as multi-level inheritance. I've said you, right, this can be related to grandparent and child relationship. It means grandparent is the base class and the parent, like the son of grandparent, is, we can call it as intermediary class or derived class of the grandparent class, and similarly the child class is the derived class of the parent class. So that's the relation, that's called as multi-level inheritance. So now if I just try to run this, and if I just give student equal to, if I just create an object of student of, now you can see, even now we can just able to access all the three, right? So if I just principal, this is a principal class, so in that way you can just access. So what's the difference between this multiple and multi-level inheritance? Means in the multiple inheritance we used to pass multiple classes inside a class, like we used to derive a particular class using multiple classes. So in the multi-level inheritance we used to derive, like even this we can say we are deriving from two classes, but not directly. Indirectly we are deriving class from the classes, right? So you can see this example, indirectly we are deriving the class student from this class teacher and principal. In the previous case, directly we have just derived this by passing the name of those classes inside this student class. So that's the difference between multiple inheritance and multi-level inheritance. So I hope you got an understanding of this multi-level and multiple inheritance. In our next video, let's discuss polymorphism in Python. So that's it for this video. If you understood the video, like the video. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.